Hey, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about crowdfunding, raising money, and specifically today, I'm getting into an Indiegogo pre-launch. How do you raise money and do it in such a way that you get funding instantly? And the way you do that is with a pre-launch. So today, I'm talking about how to actually conduct that and kind of go through the step-by-step process that you need to master if you want to do so. Okay, so when it comes to the pre-launch, I kind of think of this as a warming up phase, a way to get people excited, to get to the top of mind, I call it, where you can be, let's say you have a list of 10 things you can keep in your mind at any one given time, maybe 5 things, honestly. But you're trying to get to the top of that list as a marketer, right? So someone is thinking about this product throughout the day and they're like, oh my gosh, this campaign is going on. I'm so excited. I can't wait to support it, or I can't wait to get a product of this kind. That's what you're trying to do with the pre-launch, is to get people excited, right? So you're building emotion, and this is really important to understand. That emotion is anticipation, and also that emotion is wanting to own it, wanting to buy it, wanting to get the best deal, wanting to be a part of the community, loving the story, resonating with the values of the company. And the pre-launch is designed to go from someone here emotionally is like, okay, I don't really care, just browsing through Facebook, kind of apathetic, to right before you're ready to go live, their emotions are up here and they're like, oh, I can't, where am I gonna buy this? I want this thing now. Like, just tell us where to buy it, The whole thing is like, shut up, take my money, right? There's that meme out there that goes about that. But that's really where you want to get people, is you want to raise their emotions to the point where they're like, I want to know where to buy this, where can I buy it, where can I buy it? And then you unveil the Kickstarter or the Indiegogo campaign, and then they have the option to be able to pre-order it. And that's really the whole goal of the pre-launch from more of a broad view. So let's talk about the mechanics, right? The actual procedures you're going through as you navigate the process that is a pre-launch. How do you go about this? Well, first of all, you need a way to be able to message people and contact people. And typically by that, I mean like a broadcast medium of some kind. Now, so for some campaigners, that could be as simple as building out social media profiles, having Instagram, having Facebook, Twitter maybe, as a way you can broadcast to your followers. But the problem with those is, when I was first getting started in the industry, I would watch campaigns who had a massive following, had like 50,000 Instagram followers or whatever, and they'd go live and they wouldn't get any funding. And I'm like, why is this, And that's when I had this realization in mind. And I was on a podcast episode with someone. I do a podcast, Crowdfunding Demystified. I have more than like 200 episodes on that podcast. And I had this realization. And the realization was that quantities and followers, what we call vanity metrics, that doesn't always convert into engagement. The most important thing is engagement and who is on your following. So how engaged are people? Who are they, right? Would you rather have a list of people that are following you who are teenagers, who don't have very much money to spend and don't even suffer from the product maybe that your problem solves and don't care about it? Or would you rather have, let's say, would you rather have 10,000 of those teenagers? Or would you rather have 100 people who are following you that are millionaires, business owners, that clearly see the problem that your product solves, that value the solution, and if you actually came forward with that, they'd be interested in buying it? I would rather have 100 millionaires, 100 business people, than 10,000 teenagers that are following me, right? And that's kind of how you want to think about it, is you want the right people who are following you in the pre-launch. You want the right people who experience the problem or are interested in what it is that you've created. And that's really where conversion happens, is getting engagement, getting people, is their attention. Engagement is a code word for attention. If you have lots of followers but no attention of those followers, it's very hard to get them to do anything whatsoever. So number one procedure, get engagement, get attention. Number two is go beyond the traditional mediums. The traditional mediums are Facebook, Instagram, maybe like TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, social media, YouTube, right? Go beyond those social media mechanisms and get really into the real ways that people communicate nowadays, which are text message, email, direct message. Those are all great ways in order to actually get someone's contact information in a more meaningful way. So for example, If I send an email, it's probably going to get a much larger portion of my audience that views that versus an update on Facebook, right? So it's one thing that you should have, but you need to be kind of pulling multiple levers in the pre-launch phase in order to have the most effective amount of engagement. I call this omnipresence, right? What is omnipresence? I try to create this effect in my own marketing, honestly. So with my own marketing, I try to create an omnipresence effect. And what that is you're going on YouTube, you're watching my videos, you're listening to the podcast, you're reading my book, you're reading my blog articles when they appear and you're searching for something. You're maybe following me on Instagram when I'm posting different tiny clips with like new tidbits of information and education. I'm trying to create this omnipresence effect within my own following so that people know if they want help with something, how I can help them, and also that, I'm legitimate, basically. I know what I'm talking about. You want to have the same kind of omnipresence effect in the pre-launch where these people, they're on your email list, they're following you on social media, they're following you on Instagram, maybe they're even getting direct messages from you if you're doing a Facebook bot. There's so many ways to create this effect, but you really want to have that. And also paid advertising can be another part of these omnipresent effects. Maybe they're going on Facebook and they're seeing your ads. This keeps you at the top of their mind, which is one of the things we were talking about in the beginning of this video, is keeping you top of mind, your brand, so that when you go live, they are excited, they know about it, they know who you are, there's no question marks in their mind, right? And that's really the omnipresence effect.
This YouTube video is sponsored by The Gadget Flow. The Gadget Flow reaches over 28 million people and they've been around since 2012. They're Indiegogo and Kickstarter experts. They featured over 5,000 crowdfunding campaigns. If you have a tech or design campaign, it is a great platform to generate awareness and get backers. Check them out at thegadgetflow.com/submit and list your project today.
There are two more key parts to the pre-launch. The first is testing, right? So every good pre-launch should be having a testing phase where you're testing out your marketing. And here's why. If anyone tells you that they 100% know how to communicate with your customers, they are lying to you. I'm saying this again. If anyone says virtually guaranteed 100%, I know how to message your customers, they are lying to you. People are human beings. I am a human being. I know some things. I've had a lot of experience, but even I have to learn. And the way we do this is through a testing phase. So this is part of the pre-launch phase where you're basically testing out your messaging, you're testing out landing pages, you're testing out creative copy, creative images, the kind of stuff that gets followers engaged, and you learn. It's almost like a learning mechanism where you're putting out all this content as an experimenter and you're capturing the feedback, the data, the comments, and you're like, okay, what is the next content I got to put out that's going to get the most engagement? And then you focus on that. So maybe you find out this landing page you made isn't getting good results, but another one is. So you go and focus on the other one and you figure out how to optimize it. Or you see this one post you're doing gets lots and lots of likes and engagement, so you do more posts, right? It's really simple. But it's something that can kind of be a little bit elusive, this testing phase, because people can get almost downtrodden, or like they don't know if things are going to work, they don't know how to do a test. So this is really part of the pre-launch, is figuring out the best way to communicate with the audience, and that's what informs your actual live campaign on Indiegogo when you're live, with the copywriting, the imagery, the video you use, all that. The final thing I'll say about a pre-launch is there's another emotion, and we talked about some of these other emotions like anticipation or engagement being a code word for attention. Another word that I want to throw out there is the emotion of urgency. I want you to think about the last time in your life when you felt something was urgent, right? So in my own life, when something is urgent, I got to do it now. Otherwise, these other things, I have a mental movie of what happens, like all these other things happen if I don't do it now. And even if we have a really busy and chaotic life, if something is urgent, you will make time for it, because otherwise, all these bad things in your mind that are in the back of your head will end up happening. To give an example, I use this example a lot. When I was in school, years ago, back in 2012, when I was just first starting my blog, I I was the kind of person that would leave until the last night to do assignments and to do essays that were assigned to me because I hated school. I thought it was so impractical, right? I would leave until the last minute to do these things. And I always think to myself, why is it that I'm leaving it until the last minute? I didn't understand my own behavior. Well, now as a marketer, I do. The reason was that I didn't feel any sense of urgency about the assignment, and therefore other things occupied my time. But when it was last minute, the night before, if I did not get it done, I was gonna get an F in the class, or I was gonna have my parents yell at me, or I was gonna flunk out of George Washington University and waste all this money. Thankfully I had a pretty good scholarship, but I'd end up wasting a lot of time. So I had this mental movie of all the bad stuff that would happen if I didn't finish this assignment. And that only started to become more of a vivid picture in my mind the day before that assignment was due. And what that did was it created massive urgency. And when you have massive urgency, you're willing to do things that are a little bit more difficult to do. And you're also willing to justify whatever it takes to get those things done. So I would stay up from 12 o'clock at night until 5 a.m. the next morning, just doing assignments, right, that I had put off because there wasn't enough urgency. I was willing to crank out tons of work in a long duration because of that. And I've learned how to deal with that over time, obviously, but that's something that's natural. So the last part of the pre-launch is you need to create a sense of urgency. Why should people take action now? There are many answers to that question, but why should people take action now? Why should they check out the campaign now as opposed to 5 days after you're live with the campaign? Why should they check it out on the first day? Why should they join your email list or join your tribe or subscribe to you? Why should they do it now? Give them a reason and create urgency. And if you do that, you'll see people take action much more readily because it's important to them. They're not just only thinking about you. They're not only thinking about your campaign. They're not only thinking about what it is you're trying to do with your product. They have so much other stuff going on in life, man. Most people are just struggling to get through the day, and they're more so looking at e-commerce products because it's fun, it's exciting, it's fun to buy stuff, right? And in order for them to take a little bit of action, you need a little bit of that urgency kind of sprinkled on, almost as though it's that secret ingredient that makes a dish just taste really, really good. So I hope that you liked this video. If you did, I have a great book out there called the Kickstarter Launch Formula, which you can check out on Amazon or on Audible. I got a link down below in the description. I also do one-on-one coaching calls. I also do long-term coaching with clients. So if you want to talk and you want to book a one-on-one coaching call with me, this is basically how, if you want feedback on your product, feedback on your strategy, or for my advice when it comes to hiring other people, an agency, marketers, etc., you want to explore the option of us taking over your campaign, that is one way to be able to access me, is to book a one-on-one coaching call, an hour-long intensive call. You can go to crowdcrux.com/coaching and you can check that out, or a link down below in the description. But also just go and watch some more videos. Got a ton of stuff out there. Hopefully it is helpful for you, and I really wish you well when it comes to your campaign. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Come subscribe if you want more content like this. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you next time.